¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Estamos muy contentos de participar en Tecsoluciones 2021. Vamos a tener unos minutos solamente para hablar de Cydia y vamos a cerrar con broche de oro con el keynote speaker Richard Green. Déjame decirles un poco de Cydia. Cydia es una asociación global de empresas de diseño, fabricación y tecnología en el hogar residencial, proporcionando un apoyo profesional a sus miembros dentro de la educación, certificación y presencial dentro de su comunidad. Mi nombre es Patty Manning, soy regional gerente general de Latinoamérica. Mi email, si la quieren tomar, pmanning@cydia.org, por si tienen preguntas, ya que este es solamente un previo de Cydia. ¿Qué hacemos? Tenemos la presencia en la industria proporcionando educación en varias áreas, entrenamientos y certificaciones para elevar el perfil a los profesionistas de diseño y construcción. Entrenamiento de Cydia. Los integradores personalizados recurren a Cydia para obtener una educación líder en la industria que cubra contenido técnico y específico en el negocio. Los expertos de la industria y el personal de Cydia se esfuerzan por mantener las ofertas educativas actualizadas y relevantes para su crecimiento. Cydia tiene una academia, Cydia Academy. Tenemos más de 100 cursos en línea, de los cuales esta educación es interactiva y la pueden tomar desde su casa. Certificación de Cydia. Tenemos técnico de cableado, técnico de sistemas, técnico certificado en diseño y una certificación especialista en redes. Estas certificaciones son individuales y te ayudarán a llegar al siguiente nivel profesional. Esta certificación es tuya y como empresario, cuando tus empleados tienen estas certificaciones, tendrás un reconocimiento muy diferente a otras empresas, ya que puedes poner que tus empleados son certificados y poder tener diferentes proyectos. Cydia Designer. Este es un beneficio de los miembros de Cydia. Es una herramienta de diseño basada en la nube que permite a los profesionales del cine en casa crear un diseño de sala de cine y técnicamente impecable en cuestión de minutos, incluyendo documentos de soporte, dibujos CAD en 3D. Este software está disponible para la industria. Sin embargo, como miembros de Cydia, tendrán acceso gratuito al nivel de Media Room del programa y una reducción significativa en los costos de los niveles adicionales. Cuando hacen la prueba con este sistema es increíble porque pueden ver a un cliente hoy día y en 24 horas regresar con CAD drawings al mismo cliente con toda una presentación de 30 páginas. Cydia Awards son los trofeos que hacemos cada año. Reconoce los mejores proyectos y productos de la industria, otorgando innovación, creatividad y experiencia técnica. Los ganadores y finalistas son reconocidos internacionalmente. Aparecen en blogs de la industria, artículos y son un aspecto crítico del desarrollo a la industria de la construcción y del diseño. Marquen su calendario para presentar sus proyectos, que yo sé que ahora con esta pandemia muchos proyectos no han podido salir al aire y yo sé que muchos de ustedes deben de tenerlos, así es que preséntenlos antes de abril 2. Cualquier pregunta me pueden decir o lo podemos ver en el webpage. Cydia White Papers es otro beneficio de los miembros de Cydia. Pueden descargar estas plantillas cada 2 meses, tenemos uno nuevo y hay diferentes productos y noticias muy importantes. Este es uno de los white papers que tuvimos, que es la guía para integradores, que enseña todo el tipo de video colorimetry. Está gratuito para los miembros y tiene un valor, como le dije anteriormente, de $99 para el público. En esta ocasión, por haber participado en este evento de Tecsoluciones, queremos regalarles a todos los participantes en este evento de Tecsoluciones este white paper, que es nuestro último que sacamos, es Wi-Fi 6, alta eficiencia. y se los vamos a enviar a todos ustedes. Es un artículo y es un documento que sé que para todos ustedes les servirá. Simplemente para terminar esta pequeña presentación, vamos a continuar con el keynote speaker Richard Green. Richard Green es un profesional activo en la industria de audio y video. Su compañía de integración de tecnología, Rich Green Design, atiende a ambiciosos propietarios y empresas de Silicon Valley. Richard es reconocido como uno de los principales diseñadores de sistemas AV. Algunos de sus clientes prominentes incluyen Luciano Pavarotti, Sir George Solti, Larry Ellison, Michael Tilson, Thomas Gordon, Pigetti and Steve Jobs. Richard Green, quizá muchos de ustedes lo conocen, ha estado con Cydia en los eventos de México, en diferentes eventos, y nuestro último evento, que fue el año pasado, antes de esta pandemia, estuvimos en Monterrey. Entonces, los voy a dejar adelante con Richard Green, que nos va a presentar Future Innovations in Technology. Ok, Richard, adelante. Es un placer.
Okay, thank you so much, Patty. Thank you to Cydia. Thank you to Texo. I am so happy to be here. I wish I was in Mexico with you, and I think that we would probably be doing shots of tequila by now. So we'll have to get by without. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And here we go. Great. So today we're going to talk about future innovations in technology. What's coming over the next 10 years? And I'll tell you right now, it's going to happen a lot faster than you think. So we need to pay attention to developments in technology almost every day. Ray Kurzweil, one of the great futurists, is also now with Google, said that by the end of this decade, so by the year 2030, computers will disappear from sight. They'll be embedded into everyday life with displays built into eyewear, electronics woven into clothing, providing immersive, virtual, and augmented reality. Now, how does that work? It has to do with a lot of things that we're hearing about and playing with right now, like virtual reality and augmented reality. But a lot of things that we take for granted now in the businesses that we do will change radically or possibly disappear and be completely replaced with a whole new way of interacting with media, interacting with computers. Things are moving fast. They're accelerating. As Ray Kurzweil says, it's the law of accelerating returns, exponential growth. And if you look at the picture on the right there, the year 2030, look at this woman. What is she doing? She's interacting with a holographic display. That seems pretty far out, but I'm going to show you in a couple minutes just exactly how that works. We're going to start the discussion with 6G. Now, we're just getting used to 5G cellular data communications, okay? And some of our phones have 5G built in. 5G is fabulous. It enables very fast, very low latency data communications from wherever you are, as long as you're within reach of a 5G tower. Well, 6G is coming, and 6G is amazing. 6G is what we need to enable that holographic future that we're talking about. If you're interested in what 6G is, there's a fantastic paper from Samsung Research called 6G, the next hyper-connected experience for all. Very good paper. I highly recommend it. And they're predicting within the next 10 years, truly immersive extended reality. That's what XR is. High fidelity mobile holograms and digital replicas of real reality. 6G outperforms 5G in every conceivable way, with data rates approaching 1 terabit per second. So if you look at the bottom of the slide comparing 3G, 4G, 5G, 6G, look at 6G. 1 terabit per second data rates at microsecond latency, 0.1 milliseconds. That means it will enable real-time, three-dimensional, holographic imaging, flying cars, the Internet of everything, including connected bodies and connected brains. So watch what happens in 6G. It's an enabling technology that allows all this magic to happen within the next 10 years. I want to talk about what the home of that 10-year future looks like. This slide comes from Charlie Kindle. He's with Control4 and Snap AV. He is also one of the founders of Amazon Alexa. And he said that at level 5, the highest level, the smart home of the future becomes ambient and invisible. So the technology is integrated so deeply that nobody notices the technology. It recedes into the background. The home understands human intent. It's always watching the participants, the occupants of the home, and it's proactively protecting us. So that's what the home of the future looks like. Everything's connected with Wi-Fi 6, 5G, and 6G communications. All of this stuff needs artificial intelligence in order to interpret what people are intending, how people are behaving in their homes. And we already have AI in the home with the Nest thermostat and Alexa and Siri and Google and Josh.ai. It's already in our homes, and it's already starting to make decisions for us. I want to share with you a home that I'm working on, that I'm privileged to be able to work on here in Silicon Valley. It's not completed yet. These are renderings. The house is under construction. The sheetrock is going up right now. It is being built by an artificial intelligence researcher, and he's creating his own AI that will become a member of the family. And it will have eyes everywhere, all the way around the perimeter of the house with panoramic cameras that are seamlessly woven together. So it can identify people, it does facial identification, it can tell how people are walking, it's watching and observing people inside the house, it knows who the family members are, and it becomes a member of the family. They even have an artificial intelligence dog named Abigail that will be running around the house. It will look similar to the Boston Dynamics dog you see on the right side of the slide. And it will fetch a can of beer. It will go outside every day and bring in the daily mail. It will have its own mechanical doggy door, and it will be able to operate the doggy door so that other animals can't get in. And this is just an example of where we're going. This is like the HAL 9000 computer from 2001: A Space Odyssey, for real, in a real home that is going up in Silicon Valley right now. You'll be reading about this. The artificial intelligence, this member of the family, will be composing music. It will be creating art, and the art will appear on all the TV sets. And it will change that art and change that music depending on the moods and needs of the family as it perceives it from the microphones and the cameras that are throughout the house. So this is where we're going. Now, audio video is a key part of how we make money. It's what we've been doing for 40 years. Audio video is changing. Audio video is becoming immersive. And this is a key concept, immersive AV. It starts with audio, and of course we all know about Dolby Atmos and other immersive audio technologies. CEDIA is being proactive about this. There's some confusion about how to design the ultimate room for immersive audio. So I'm proud to sit on a committee with some of the absolute leaders in the space of audio video today, and we're creating a new recommended practice. That's what an RP is, a recommended practice, number 22. It will be released later this year. It's over 100 pages long. It will be the definitive document on how to do immersive audio the right way, with amazing illustrations and amazing data. We're familiar now with very large scale video, like the Samsung wall. There are lots of people making these large scale video walls. They snap together with modules, so you can basically make them as big as you want and cover all the walls of a room. it poses a challenge with high fidelity sound. So there are companies like JBL that are making special speakers that reflect sound off the front wall, which is a solid surface. This is a whole new thing. And we're going to touch on that in the new recommended practice, but we won't, it's such a new emerging technology, we won't be able to cover it thoroughly. So watch this space. There will be a subsequent paper from CEDIA about how to do immersive audio systems in high-end home theaters that have solid front wall videos. Meyer Sound here in the Bay Area is another company that makes the reflective sound technology. Displays are changing rapidly. So we have the very large scale display that you can put in the front of a theater right now, but with interactive light field displays, which are in development right now, they become full-scale holograms, three-dimensional holograms that you can touch, that you can interact with, and we will first see them in corporate environments, in shopping malls, in schools. It will be transformative for schools, the way students can interact with each other across different continents. Interactive light field displays. There's a company here in Silicon Valley called Light Field Labs that is already doing it. It's modular, so they make a little module that throws a hologram in front of you. Those little modules can be assembled into panels. Those panels can be assembled into holographic walls, and those holographic walls can be assembled into entire rooms. 3D holography in the home. And this is within the next 10 years. So everything we think about high performance audio video is about to change and become completely immersive. Lightfield Labs has this image of holographic work surfaces where you can have a rack, a mechanical drawing, an architectural drawing, a product hover over the table and interact with it as if it was a real solid object in front of you. This is the future of design and engineering and design interaction. Virtual reality, it's here. It's well established. Most of us have had virtual reality experiences where you put something on your face that completely blocks your vision and you launch into a three-dimensional magical world. Facebook is very far in front, is very advanced in the virtual reality space with their Oculus Quest device. Now, I would like you to learn what Facebook is doing. They have a division that is a multi-billion-dollar division called Facebook Reality Labs. And this is where virtual reality and augmented reality and extended reality are being worked on by some of the top people from the world working in this space. They had an event in September of last year. Look this up. It's called Facebook Connect. Watch the keynote from Mark Zuckerberg and then skip ahead if you want to, if you're not going to watch the whole thing, and watch the video by Michael Abrash. He's the director of immersive technologies, and it'll blow your mind because it is the vision of the future. It's coming from Facebook. They're investing billions of dollars into this. And so is Apple, and so is Google, and so is Microsoft, and so is Amazon. They're all investing in this space. Facebook had a vision using their Oculus virtual reality headset of creating a multiple display workstation in front of you. You can have as many displays as you want, and they can be as big as you want. And you can point and pinch and zoom and interact with them with your hands out in front of you. And Logitech has even created a wireless keyboard that allows you to type directly into these virtual displays, as if it was hardwired into a real display on in your desk. So the whole concept of immersion now moves into the home office. It moves into your office at work. After we get past COVID, you'll be able to do these things at work. But for now, you're doing them in the home. So we had better understand how virtual reality works for the business space. Things move into extended reality. That's what XR. It's the umbrella term for all of these things, from VR, AR, MR, RR. It's all called XR, extended reality, and it is spatial. Spatial computing is the next paradigm of computing beyond two-dimensional flat surfaces. The spatial web is the single most significant development in the history of technology, and it's only 2 years away. This is both terrifying and absolutely thrilling. What is it? Well, it's all the pieces we've been talking about put together. It's the Internet of Things, it's 5G and then soon 6G, cellular data communications. It's edge computing, where cloud computing gets closer to you so that there's lower latency in the communication with the servers. There's blockchain for security of digital assets. There's augmented reality, of course. There's the AR cloud, which binds it all together. And then there's artificial intelligence, which is how you navigate through the extended reality spatial computing space. You talk to it. The AR cloud is what allows products from Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and Facebook, and Nreal, and others to communicate with each other so that people can share the same extended reality experience no matter what device they're wearing. The essential component is augmented reality, AR. Augmented reality has been around for many years. It uses the camera and the depth sensing and the 3D object sensing and the LiDAR sensors in the back of the camera to measure your room and then put digital artificial objects into the image of real reality. Sony is doing this with their TVs using an AR app so you can visualize the TV in your living room. But it goes from tablets and phones into eyeglasses that you wear on your face, and they're going to look pretty cool. Eyeglasses from Apple are probably going to hit the market in the year 2023, just 2 years from now. And they will be simple to start, and then eventually they will create this spatial web where you have a complete digital overlay on real reality. And by the way, these glasses will work in concert with the wristwatch on your wrist, with the phone in your pocket, with the refrigerator, with the Wi-Fi, with all of the IoT devices in your house, and then extending into your car, the bus, the traffic light, all through 5G and 6G communications. It's all bound together. Companies are already delivering very useful augmented reality software and experiences. The Microsoft HoloLens 2 has been around for a long time. It's well established. This is a product from a company called Tactile, T-A-Q-T-I-L-E, that allows you to give step-by-step instructions for somebody who is in assembly. You could use this for your technicians as they're assembling racks or troubleshooting systems in the home. This technology is available now. Surgeons are using this in the operating rooms so they can see from an MRI scan of somebody's brain, they can interact with the MRI scan projected onto the actual brain when they go in and do brain surgery, and it increases their precision by 100%. It's an amazing tool in operations. Think of what it could do for us at CEDIA. The vision going forward is to collaborate with people around products and designs and architecture and models so that you can manipulate that hologram in front of you, but you're sharing it with somebody else in the room. There's an application called Spatial that you can buy right now that allows you to have Zoom meetings or Microsoft Teams meetings in an augmented reality space where you could create a little Post-it note and stick it up in the room, and everybody can see that Post-it note and you can walk around it. You could walk around a model, an architectural model, a drawing. Spatial works on laptops. It works with Microsoft HoloLens. It works with Nreal. So I'm going to show you what the new mobile app for Spatial looks like. I hope this is coming through okay. You can see that you can make a Post-it note, flip it out there, let it hang in the air, and people can collaborate with you with VR, AR, mobile devices, tablets. So watch this app, Spatial. I think it's very interesting what they're developing. There's another augmented reality glasses that you can buy right now called Nreal. It comes from China, from Beijing, and it's affordable. It's about less than $1,000. It has all kinds of cameras and sensors built into it, and this creates an actual augmented reality experience right now. It's tethered using USB-C to your phone. Nreal has announced a new application very similar to Spatial called Nebula. And Nebula allows you to create, just like we showed with Facebook, with Oculus, you can put virtual windows as big as you want, hovering out in front of you, and interact with your media and your computing simply by looking through the glasses. You can reach out and touch them and interact with them. So that's called Nebula from Nreal. The glasses are going to become contact lenses. So there's a company called Mojo that's doing this right now. They make a contact lens that is currently for people who are visually challenged. It helps you see better than you can see even with glasses. It's been in development for several years. The image is crude, but it's useful. So people who have difficulty reading the fine print or seeing in the dark, this would be transformative for them. So this is the first example of augmented reality through a contact lens. There's another company called Innovega that has the Immacula product. And this is with a friend of ours named Jerry Ledgerton. These are contact lenses that work with augmented reality glasses that you put in front, and they give you a much richer, a much wider, a much more useful, immersive visual experience, initially also for the visually impaired. And so with the Immacula product, you start to see things more like this, where you have color, high resolution, imagery and data in front of you as you're walking down the street. So this is a very important first step toward that magical spatial web where you can see the digital twin of real reality in real time. It's also happening in audio. Audio augmented reality was announced by Bose, tried it, and then they deleted it. They canceled the product. But late last year, Apple announced that the AirPod Pros, and I've got mine right here, those are now spatial audio devices, so they can emulate an Dolby Atmos image inside your head. So all it takes are these two little earbuds. Well, those little earbuds will be an essential part of the augmented reality, extended reality, spatial computing experience that you walk around with you. Siri will be whispering in your ear. Google will be whispering in your ear, giving you subtle information about what's happening around you, non-invasive. Facebook is working on this. They are going to have their own version of this with the Facebook Reality Labs, and they're already doing head-related transform function, HRTF, research, so that when the earbuds are in your ears and you're in a noisy restaurant, you can cancel out the sounds you don't want to hear, and you can amplify the sounds you do want to hear. That's in development right now. It'll be like a super-duper hearing aid. This brings us to mixed reality, MR. Mixed reality is when your body starts to become part of the extended reality experience. And for about 3 years now, we've had a product called the Tesla suit, which is a full body haptic feedback system. So you can feel touch and punches and sensations all over your body generated in the spatial computing world. It even has a cooling and heating system. So if you're in a magical world that's cool, not hard to imagine these days, it cools down your body. So Tesla suit is a full body haptic feedback system. Here's a prototype being developed in Germany by Dr. Marcel Ries. He calls it the Holotron. This is a motorized contraption that you can step into in your living room and walk and run and experience the physicality in a virtual or augmented reality space without having to leave your home. So working at home, working from home takes on new dimensions when you can step into an object like this and actually walk down the virtual street. And that brings me to a discussion of natural user interfaces, NUI, NUIs. And we talked to Federico about this earlier this week. I know that his company is already working in this space. The BMW car company has gesture control built into some of their cars where you can simply point to a parking space and it's got a camera on you, it has voice recognition, it has gesture control. You can point to a parking space and say, park there. Take your hands off the wheel and the car will park to where you pointed. There's a company called Ultra Haptics that uses ultrasound to rarefy the air so that when you put your fingers over it, you can feel little bumps in the air as if there were little buttons there. That's available right now, Ultra Haptics. So a touchless, immersive haptic experience is part of what we're going to see develop over the next couple of years, where we don't, oh, look at you. You are so cool,
80 bucks.
Federico. Federico's already doing this.
80 bucks.
80 bucks. It should be 8,000. Google has their advanced technology and products department, and they have Project Soli. It's a little chip that has gesture recognition that is going to be built into Android phones and other products where you can use your fingers to touch virtual buttons and turn little virtual dials and interact in three-dimensional space with virtual three-dimensional objects, Project Soli. And that brings me to brain-computer interfaces. This is where things start to get a little bit scary. The BCI, brain-computer interfaces. Facebook, of all people, these are the people who want not only to know everything about your life and everything that you do and say with everybody in your life, but now they want to do it from inside your brain. I'm not kidding you. Sheryl Sandberg said in a keynote a couple of years ago, so what if you could type directly from your brain? Sounds pretty far out. Well, then they buy this company, Control Labs, which is a BCI, a brain control interface that you wear on your arm. And the way it works is it detects the electrical signals going through the nerves in the muscles of your arms. And it does it with such high precision that it can tell precisely what your fingers are doing and what you're pointing at. So the vision here is that you can reach out and manipulate virtual objects in VR, AR, or extended reality experiences. And what's really, really mind-blowing is look at the person in the bottom right picture. He has no fingers and he can type just by wearing this thing on his arm. It's reading the muscles in his arm that would have moved his fingers on a keyboard, and he can type without fingers. This is transformative technology. Our friend Elon Musk, who is, I think, now the richest person in the world, has a company that he's invested over $125 million into so far called Neuralink. And he believes that the brain-computer interfaces are the future. They're developing what they call neural lace, which is a sensor network that goes inside your scalp on top of the neocortex of your brain with very high resolution electroencephalogram EEG sensing to detect your brain waves and eventually your thoughts. And the way they've already got a machine, it's like a sewing machine. It sticks a hole in your skull and squirts these little sensors into your brain, and then they spread out and become this neural lace. That machine is already in production, and they're doing this experimentally on animals right now. Monkeys and pigs are having brain-computer interface experiences, and they're starting to read the thoughts of the monkeys. How scary is that? It's very scary. So I'm going to ask you to please slow down a little bit. We have to remember our humanity as we develop these technologies. We're getting into very scary situations here, and it takes people who have moral and ethical backbones plus the scientific knowledge to make this technology work for humanity and not against humanity. Dieter Rams, one of the greatest designers of all time, said, if you cannot understand good design if you do not understand people. We have got to slow down. We've got to understand humanity. How do people work? What do their bodies need? What do their minds need? What do our souls need? And one of the things that we absolutely need, every single one of us, is simplicity. We've got to find a way to find simplicity. Out of clutter, find simplicity. Simplicity is something that people will pay more for. They'll pay more for a simple solution than for a complex solution. So any third-rate engineer or researcher can increase complexity, but it takes a certain flair of real insight to make things simple again. This is what we do. This is what CEDIA is all about. We take complexity and we turn it into simplicity for our clients, for their families, in their homes, as they work from home, as they grow up. We need to make a more humane, simpler experience for them. We're going to do that with design. And design is the most important thing that we in CEDIA do for our customers. We are entering what is now being known as the era of invisible design, where technology recedes into the background, it disappears, it does not call attention to itself. Like the Samsung Frame TV, it just disappears and becomes ambient. And I love this. I think we need to be thinking more and more about how can we make technology useful at the time it's needed and disappear when it's not needed. Back to Dieter Rams, what are the 10 principles of design, his 10 commandments of design? Well, good design is always innovative. It makes a product useful. It's aesthetic. It's easy to understand. It's unobtrusive. It's honest. It's thorough down to the last detail. It's environmentally friendly. It's long-lasting, meaning we don't have to replace it all the time. And this is my favorite. Good design is as little design as possible. We want a light touch, keep it simple. And that brings me to RR, which is real reality. How do we make real reality a richer, more humane experience for our customers? The International Wellbeing Institute, for one, has a wellness scorecard. And they claim that wellness is the new luxury. Well, yes, it is. It has to do with indoor air quality, IAQ. And we are all suffering from bad air. Up here in California, we have the wildfires and times where we can't breathe when we're outside. There's air pollution. So air quality is incredibly important as we design systems for customers building new homes. Water quality, nourishment, light quality, fitness, more innovative fitness technology for the home. Comfort and mind. How does the mind relax in the new home? There's a concept now of biophilia. How do we think about human beings as animals, as biological entities, and serve the biological needs of human beings? And I know that, Federico, you're into this. There's a company called Delos, which has a CEDIA friend named Jim Hunter involved. They have a product called Darwin, where they're able to improve heart, respiratory, immune, cognitive, sleep, restore your body's natural rhythms. And so you want to watch what technologies are out there to enhance the quality of life in the homes of the people we serve. And at some point, we will get into the age of abundance. This is a vision of the Tesla home, where all of those roof tiles are solar. Can you imagine how Texas and Mexico could have benefited from more micro-generation of power, so we didn't have to rely on the power grids, which can go down with something as simple as a cold snap and a blizzard? So this is the vision for the future, an abundant vision, a humane vision, serving the families as they grow up in a new world challenged by COVID. There will be other pandemics, challenged by climate change, people will rely on their homes more than ever. And it is us, it is Cedia who makes that happen. And that's it. I want to say thank you. And I think, Federico, maybe we can have a little Q&A if you'd like.
Sure. Well, one thing is, you see it in the cloud, and when they decided to throw up satellites so we would have internet all over the world. Who do you think is going to win? Or what companies? Because I mean, there's a Facebook that's doing it. There's a Tesla that's doing it. There's all these small companies that have all the money in the world. Who do you think is going to win on this? I mean, for example, cloud, we know that Google and Microsoft and Amazon. Now, on these artificial intelligence, on this, virtual reality, I'm sorry. I know that Facebook is advanced, but who do you think is going to win?
I think there's a long-term answer to that question. And the long-term answer is distributed, decentralized. And the big companies are already starting to figure that out. So when I talked about edge computing, part of edge computing is taking the cloud and breaking it up and bringing it closer to where you are. And there will be interoperability between the clouds, between the edge servers. So you don't have to commit to Facebook or Google or Apple. They are smart enough now to realize they're going to have to break down the walls of the walled gardens and cooperate. And they're already starting to do this in the it's IoT over IP initiative that a lot of big companies are initiating, which takes the IoT communication protocols and puts them all on internet protocol so that they are cross-operable. The APIs will become more open. So I am looking forward to a more decentralized, democratized future for technology. I don't think there will be a single winner. It won't be Facebook. It'll be all of the above. Choose your recipe. And I think that's where it's going to end up.
There's a question in the chat about blockchain. And I mean, specifically, what do you think about blockchain and Web 3.0? And it comes to the point where you should democratize. Well, there's nothing more democratized than blockchain. Then that's exactly what, but anyway, you can explain it probably in an easier way.
Well, that's exactly right. So decentralized and democratized security and privacy will require blockchain. It's a distributed ledger that's distributed across hundreds of thousands, if not millions of nodes. It's virtually impossible to hack into. And we are seeing blockchain, that's what Bitcoin is, but we're seeing blockchain breaking down into private blockchains, interoperable between corporations and big companies like Google and Apple. They're all going to be developing blockchains. And so with blockchain in this extended reality Web 3.0 kind of a space, I can make a virtual coffee cup, okay? It doesn't exist, but it looks real. And with haptics, you can reach out and grab it. I can put a little bit of blockchain.
And with a 3D printer, you can actually make it, right?
I can also make it with a 3D printer. But with blockchain, I can bake security and privacy and ownership into that coffee cup so that you, Federico, can see it when I put it into our shared extended reality space. But if Patty walks into the room, she can't even see it because she doesn't have the blockchain key to access that digital asset.
Okay, I think that we really lost privacy. We traded privacy for convenience at some point. I mean, there was a point where you said, you can know where I'm going, what I'm doing. So what, with this, wait, I was kicking off the question, but the question was, if you can tell us a little bit more about that privacy, will it be with blockchain, or will it be, or we are willing to give our information for convenience. So how does that play out?
Well, privacy is being democratized and decentralized as well. It will rely very heavily on blockchain, but I think we're going to follow the lead of companies like Apple, whose business model, their profitability, is based on hardware sales. They do not need to scrape private information from people in order to make a profit, which is the profit model of Google and Facebook and Amazon. So I think that the future of privacy has to do with getting out of the free model where you are the product. So in Facebook, they take your data and resell it. We're going to switch to a subscription model, and we're going to have small micro subscriptions that aggregate through highly secure payment mechanisms where you can subscribe to the news and social networking and other purchasing and so on services that you expect from your apps, but you're going to pay a little bit of money for that and for the privilege of not having them steal your data.
You have to pay for your privacy. That's
you have to pay for your privacy. So I think easily within the next 10 years,
I would pay for
going to a subscription model.
Yeah. And there's a comment from Octavio here that in the future, considering how many services will depend on internet, a couple of hours without internet will be the equivalent without power at the home for the whole day. Well, that's Texas, you know, or Monterey. We had the same here in the north of Mexico.
Texas,
Power went out.
Monterey.
I don't care about power. Internet. I don't have internet.
Well, if we have micro generation of power at the 6G nodes and the 5G nodes, then we've got very high bandwidth, low latency cellular data communications that can maintain signal in the middle of a power outage. You're not going to lose internet. And so there are people already installing routers in the home that are dual WAN routers where you've got your normal internet ISP coming in on one port and you've got a 5G cellular data modem on the other port that automatically rolls over if there is an internet outage. That's what we need to be doing.
Yeah. If there's no more question. I don't know if there's any question from anybody else. You can open your mic and ask or write it down. Well, I guess that's it. I want to thank you, Rich, especially. It's always fun. Usually we share, we would be live, but this time we're virtual. But anyway, thank you very much, Rich. It's been wonderful.
Okay. Well, thank you, Federico. It's always a pleasure to be with you. It really is. You're one of my favorite people, and with Patty and with your whole group. And I love Mexico, and I want to come back desperately and see my friends again. I hope we can do that soon.
We will. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.